few moments and share with us his run for commissioner for our first district here in Henry County. And please come now. Amen.
Family, just want to thank you all for allowing me to be here today. I want to thank God for allowing this day to finally get here. Also, I want to thank Reverend for being the good friend that he is to me and that he's been to me all these years that I've been with the church. Appreciate everything that he does. As I told the group this morning, I think that he's probably one of the most influential people in Henry County, if not the entire state of Georgia. He's a wonderful minister and a good friend. I also want to thank Miss Lee for allowing me to also do this. She's been a good friend to us in the years that we've been here at the church, and I really appreciate everything that she's done for us. Before I get started, I want to introduce two people who mean the world to me, two people that are helping me with my campaign. And I want to introduce, first of all, my beautiful bride, Sylvia Mays. Would you stand up? Sylvia's done a great job for us in our campaign, and I really appreciate all the hard work she's doing. Also, I want to introduce my campaign director. I've been with the church here, a good friend of mine who I've known him for probably 40 years. We both grew up in Gary, Indiana, went to high school together. Tom Crump. And just real quick, I just want to introduce any people that are here on our campaign. You guys stand up and just take a quick bow. I want to tell you, family, before I get started, that this is probably one of the happiest days of my life. And I know you're asking why that is. Well, the reason is simple. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time, a chance to get in front of you and to explain to you, first of all, who I am, and also, secondly, why I want to be your county commissioner. And the reason is very simple, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but I want to tell you, first of all, that I'm James C. Mays. I'm an attorney. I'm practicing attorney here in Henry County. I've lived here about 7 years, moved here from St. Louis, Missouri. My family originally lived in southwest Georgia, a little town called Blakely, Georgia, Clay County, Georgia, and Early County, Georgia, and they moved to Chicago in the 1940s looking for work. And so I grew up in Chicago and Gary, Indiana, finished high school in Gary, Indiana, and when I finished high school, I decided to join the United States Air Force, and I know we have a lot of veterans here, and I'm just one of you, but I'm one of those people who is both an Air Force veteran and a Navy veteran. I was an Air Force sergeant and a Navy lieutenant. I was a lawyer in the Navy, so I'm one of those rare characters. When I came out of the Air Force, I decided I wanted to go back to college, so I came down to Atlanta again and went to Clark Atlanta University and got a degree in business administration. I was the president of the student body, president of several other organizations. I won a full scholarship to the University of Iowa in Iowa City, Iowa, went up for 3 years in law school at the University of Iowa. When I finished law school at Iowa, Clark Atlanta asked me if I would come back as a political science professor. So 3 years after I finished college at Clark Atlanta, I was back teaching political science at Clark Atlanta University. So it's really kind of funny because some of the kids who were freshmen when I was a senior, they were now my students and I was teaching them political science. It's really kind of a funny story. I taught political science at Clark for 2 years, and I decided I wanted to practice law, so I went with the United States government as a trial attorney in Atlanta with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. I spent 2 years with them, and I had an opportunity to go with one of the world's largest fashion companies, a New York fashion company, and I went to work for them in their St. Louis administrative office. I spent 30 years with them, and in 2005 I retired and moved back to Georgia. So I was really, really happy to get back. When we came to Georgia, my wife and I, we looked at the entire metropolitan area, looked at all 10 counties, and we looked at Henry County and decided that this was the best place for us to live. We just think this is a wonderful county. We think that it has all the things that we wanted to have. It has great police services. It has great schools. It has great churches. Everything that we were looking for, we found in Henry County. So we moved here about 7 years ago. found the people to be wonderful. I retired for 2 years, played golf for about 2 years, and after about 2 years, I took a job in the Henry County Juvenile Court. I currently am a lawyer in the Henry County Juvenile Court, and I have my own small practice called the Mays Group that I'm operating out of my home. So some of you I've seen in court. That's our secret. Others of you I've just seen here at church. I want to tell you why I've decided to run for county commissioner. And the reason is simple. About a year ago, I started looking at our situation here in Henry County, and I discovered that we are in deep, deep trouble. And what I mean by that is I discovered that we have a $10 million deficit in the county. That means that these people have overspent by $10 million. They bought airport, they bought a golf course that we don't need, they bought a gun range that we don't need, they bought Nash Farm, this Confederate battleground over here that we don't need, overspent by $10 million. As a result of that, we have a huge deficit that is hanging over our heads. I looked at that, along with other things. Our people who work for the county have not had a pay increase in 5 years. Nobody who works for the county has had a pay increase in 5 years. And in addition to that, because of that huge deficit they had to start having people furloughed on a regular basis. You had to miss days now from work because we don't have the money to pay you. So many of our policemen and other people are leaving the county now to go into places where they can work and earn money. They are currently earning less money if you work for the county than you did 5 years ago. We have serious, serious problems in our county because of the mistakes that the current administration has made. They have to go. We've got to make changes. I only have 4 planks in my platform. Basically, they are fiscal responsibility, economic development, transportation, and public service. I'll try to explain this real quick without taking too much time. What do I mean by fiscal responsibility? I mean we need people in positions who are going to make smart, business-based decisions. The guys that are currently in there are just making decisions, putting money in their pocket, doing other things that don't make sense. We need people who are going to make smart decisions when they look at our money, not ruin our money. You may know, because of the hole that they've gotten us in, that $10 million, that your taxes were increased last week by this commission. They went from an 11.75% millage rate to a 14.5% millage rate. This is a 23% increase in your taxes. You will be paying more taxes this year than you paid last year because they did not know how to solve that problem, okay? So smart fiscal responsibility, that's what we're looking for from these guys. We don't think they have the ability to do it. We need people with business background and lawyers, people like that who know something about how to solve these problems, and we're going to find them now. Okay, that's number one. Number two, economic development. The way I would solve that tax problem is not to go out and raise your taxes, but to find ways of bringing new businesses into our community. We need big businesses. We need companies that can make automobiles. We need high technology companies coming into Henry County. We need to be able to attract these people. The current people apparently can't do that. I read something recently where the mayor of the city of Atlanta traveled all the way to China to try to find businesses that would move to the Atlanta area. I read where the CEO of DeKalb went all the way to the Far East to find jobs to come into his district. We need people who are willing to travel all over the world to find businesses to bring to our community so that we can have the jobs and the things that we need to pay off these taxes and get us back to where we should be. I'm willing to do that, and I think I have the capability of doing it, so we're going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, my third plank has to do with transportation. And what do I mean by that? If you look around in Henry County today, you see that it looks far different in terms of our transportation situation than it looked 7 years ago. I live out on 155 in Heron Bay, and the highway traffic out there now is atrocious. Trucks up and down there, you can barely get up that highway. And in addition to that, out where I live near the new Publix, they are building a 1.1 million square foot Home Depot distribution center that is going to be going in out there. And they're saying that they're going to have an additional 80 to 100 of these 18-wheel trucks going in there every day, 24 hours a day. It's going to be monstrous. We need to widen 155. We need to widen 2342 and Bill Gardner and all the roads that are around in our community. If we don't, we will not be able to get around in this area. Some of us have got to take this problem and solve it. I'm the person to do it. I want you to elect me as the county commissioner. And then finally, number 4 has to do with public safety. I mentioned to you that our public safety people have not had a pay increase in the last 5 years. Nobody in the county has had a pay increase in the last 5 years. We've got to solve that problem. We've got to find ways to make sure that that never happens again. If I'm elected, I'm going to make sure that the police are never furloughed again. That's one of my planks. Why should we furlough our policemen and make it uncomfortable or dangerous for us to live? That just doesn't make sense. In addition to that, they're just leaving Henry County because they don't want to live in a situation where they don't know how many days they're going to be working a year. We've got to solve that problem. Public safety, our firemen, our emergency people who take care of us with their ambulances and everything. We've got to solve these problems. And so public safety is high on my list of things that I want to do. I moved to Henry County partially because it seemed very safe to me. It seemed like a very safe place to live. But if our policemen are fleeing the county and we don't have policemen, we can't pay them, well, it's not going to be safe that long. So we've got to solve that problem. So those are my 4 planks. We want to talk about fiscal responsibility, economic development, we want to solve the transportation problem, and we want to make sure that we take care of our public safety people because they take care of us. Okay? So I want you to consider the entire plank of Democratic candidates that are running for office this time in November. I'm running in District 1. Jackie Woods is running in District 2. Sandra Vincent is running in District 3, and we have a woman who's running for the chairmanship. Her name is Carlotta Harrell. I want you to vote for all of us. In addition to that, you may have met, and I believe you did, the person that is running for district attorney this time. For the first time in our history, we're going to have a person that's running on our ticket who's running for district attorney. His name is Darius Patillo, an outstanding young lawyer, and who works over in DeKalb County but lives in Henry County. We have a plank and a slate of Democratic candidates this time that we have never had in the entire history of Henry County. That has never been done. All of them outstanding, all of them capable of doing the job. They just need a chance. But we will never get a chance, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't do what you have to do. You have got to get out and vote. If you don't get out and vote, all of these talented people will never have the opportunity to do what we need them to do for us in Henry County. So please, in November, when you vote for President Barack Obama, just go down the list. Vote for the president, please vote for the rest of us. I think you're going to be surprised and happy with the results, and I just thank you for that. One other thing, if you would like to see something about me, I have a webpage, www.jamescmays.com. Please go and look at it, and I think you'll learn all you need about me. Thank you very much. Love you.
Amen. It's good to have people that can inform and